There is some interesting news, my friends. PSA is crossing the line officially now this time, because they have been caught in doing something shady. People have been saying it already for months that PSA is crossing the line with both accepting your cards to be graded, but then afterwards they make you a proposition to buy the cards from you so they can resell them to others. That is clearly a conflict of interest, and people have been saying it already for weeks, for months, that something will happen, that there will be shady business in the bag. And now only a few days ago, someone on X made a post to indicate that something was off. He received his grading report, and for the 30 cards that he sent off, they all got a 9. And he said, this was my baddest submission ever, because he said I should have gotten at least 10 to 12 PSA 10s. He was sure about that. So he made a post to complain about it, which is normal. That's what we all do. If we are not agreeing with something, we make an Instagram post, we make an X post, we make a YouTube video. We do all those things to draw some attention to it, to make sure that people are aware of the shit show that is going on. So here is the post in question, my friends. So he mentions that, okay, he was expecting at least 10 to 12 gems minimum out of the 30. And then he says there is just no fucking way. So this was the video he received from PSA. PSA 9, PSA 9, all PSA 9s, all PSA 9s. So he tried to get some attention to this point. But now, so this is December 3rd. This is the timeline. On December 4th, all of a sudden, he makes a post and that he says 11 certs were shown to me as a PSA 9 and now they are showing PSA 10. Because you receive an offer from PSA. PSA says, okay, your card is a PSA 9. We offer you X amount. And then you can choose, okay, yeah, it's only a PSA 9. It will be difficult for me to sell that. Nobody will be interested in that card in a PSA 9. I only want a PSA 10, so you can decide to sell your card to PSA. Yeah, conflict of interest. We have found the problem. Yeah, okay. And he did that for a few cards. But then afterwards, he went up and he was looking in his order. And then he saw, okay, but that card now seems to be a PSA 10. How is that now possible? So he reached out to PSA itself. And then the day later, December 5th, latest update, my friends, the situation has been resolved and this should not have impacted anyone else. Okay, so we have seen the timeline. 3rd of December, he reported what was happening. The 4th of December, he reported that he have seen PSA 9s that were now PSA 10s. And then on the 5th of December, all got sorted out between him and PSA, and it was a fluke in the matrix which only affected him. Honestly, what do you think? Something fishy? Extra shady? Correct. Yes. So this whole situation, my attention was drawn to this by an Instagram post. I had seen an Instagram post by a company that said they cancelled the PSA submission for the month of December for their customers. They cancelled it. And I was like, why are you doing that? And then in the description it was mentioned, due to the recent information coming up about PSA and perhaps of the shady business, we currently cannot support PSA and we will not be sending new cards for submissions for grading to PSA. We do not support what is currently going on and they are not sure about the cooperation with PSA. And I was like, oh, what the fuck is going on? I said, oh my God. And I was like, I need to go to the voice of the internet. I need to go to Reddit. So I was looking up on Reddit and then I found the following post, my friends. So PSA fraud alert, posted 3 days ago. So the person says, what I've been saying already for a few months would happen has finally happened. With tons of people pushing back saying my claims were baseless, we finally have evidence. Yeah, with PSA ramping up buybacks, more people have been getting 9s than ever. Turns out, PSA is grading cards as PSA 9s, offering high buyout values, and then flipping the same certs to PSA 10. How stupid can you be? If you are making a proposition to your customer to buy the PSA 9, and then afterwards you are reusing the same certificate number and just changing the grade. What kind of dum-dums work at PSA? I don't know. They watched Dum Dum the movie or what? Or they hired those two guys? I don't know. But something is off. So this conflict of interest and corporate greed truly knows no bounds. I agree. A company like PSA should not be allowed to change their business model now like that they rebuy your cards and things like that. it shouldn't happen. Shouldn't happen. So people in the comments are saying all sorts of things. You have, of course, PSA fuckboys, fanboys, and you have people against PSA. I understand. You have always your pros and your cons. But they are now calling out people to verify your PSA submissions and check back to see if you have resold your cards to PSA to see what happened with those grades. Can you find some glitch in the matrix yourself as well? Because the user Preston said that it only happened to him, and he repeats that. So okay, in an absolutely wild turn of events, apparently some of these literally graded a 10, but PSA falsely told me they were 9s. Some of these slabs that were originally marked as a PSA 9 are sold back to PSA at their PSA 9 buyback value, but now if you look at that cert, it's a PSA 10. They bought PSA 10s from me for less than PSA 9 value because they showed me the wrong grades, or did they change them after the fact? A lot of stuff to think about, and they are doing something shady. And I really hope that now everybody, if you're now liking PSA or you're not liking PSA, now is the time to speak. Now is the time to act. Now is the time to boycott. Otherwise, 2026 could perhaps be the year that PSA fucks over the entire grading community. Because imagine that this gets bigger. Imagine that somewhere in 2026, they really get caught immensely, and all PSA 10s are worthless due to this behavior. Can you imagine that? Because it could happen, eh? If now the entire market, the entire community finds out that PSA is 100% doing illegal stuff and deceiving everybody, it could be that those PSA 10s can become worthless. That's already going far, yeah? And he says, okay, he has been contacted directly and this situation has been quickly and amicably resolved. This is a confirmed one-off situation. My grades were manually reviewed after my original post reached PSA. The sales of the PSA 10s will be reversed and returned back to me. 100. How can PSA tell that this is a confirmed one-off situation? How can they tell that? So, for those million cards that they grade every month, you are going to tell me that Preston was the only one where they made a slip up? The only one? Why him? How him? And they only went back to look at his grades due to his social media post. What about all the other guys, all the other ladies, and you name it, that are not posting about their PSA 9s, that are not being reviewed to see, was it good? Did the Matrix fuck up? Did Dum did something dumb? Do you really can now be sure that they are honest? And nobody trusts him that he says it's a one-off situation, because he repeats it. He repeats it multiple times that it's a one-off situation, because he says here also, a lot of confusion still about how I can say with confidence that this is a one-off situation. Let me clarify. My changing from a PSA 9 to a PSA 10 was a unique situation triggered by someone in PSA who saw my original post displaying all of the 9s. It was obvious that the grades originally given were not fair, and so the entire sub was regraded. Come on. Regraded? So the cards were graded. The grades were known on the 3rd of December, and on the 5th of December, everything was arranged. They were even regraded. While, if you check out PSA's website now, our label means authentic. No. Yeah. Over 80 million collectibles authenticated and graded. To which extent? Why grade with PSA? Increase collectability. Yeah, okay. So increase protection. I don't know if you have seen recently the posts and the videos about slabs being opened without leaving a trace, and that you can reseal them back. Really happening. So you're better off using Durex than, I don't know, a PSA slab. And then increase value. Increase value for PSA. Yeah, the company value. But we were talking about the turnaround times. So TCG bulk was normally previously until November 65 business days, is now 95 business days. Value bulk, you know the drill. The whole shit show. They extended everything because they got so many things to do. Hire additional people or open additional facilities. Yeah. Don't be a bottleneck. But then here apparently then Preston was saying that they were regraded. That quickly. They found an intern with some free time or what? It remains shady. I don't know what you think, but he keeps confirming it was a one-off situation. And apparently people asked him clearly, did PSA told you to say this? Because you keep repeating it. Is PSA telling you that you need to tell us this? Did they give you something to shut you up? He says he's honest. He said PSA didn't ask him. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not a fan of PSA. I'm not hiding it. So yeah, but I'm trying to be okay. I try to be in the middle. I don't like it. And it's now time. I think this news needs to get out as far as possible, and people need to recheck the cards that they sold to PSA. Yeah, because the conflict of interest in the USA is enormous. Yeah, PSA is working very closely with GameStop, because now at GameStop you can go in, you can send your cards through GameStop to PSA, and you get some kind of priority. But also GameStop is now doing those gaming gambling things where you can have those mystery slabs for $1,000 and even $2,500, and that you can have those high-end slabs, or it can be a bust. It's gambling, basically legally gambling. So, and then they are working together with PSA. I think they are both shaking hands and making a ton of money on the backs of the community. And at some point, this is going to turn out very bad, and they might destroy all that is known about the grading community. All about the grading that they did. They might just put a bad aftertaste on everything. Yeah. So people, think twice. Yeah. Okay. Think for yourself. Yeah, I'm just putting the information out there. We don't have any other cases, but I don't think it will take long, because people are going to dive into their information and going. Now everybody is digging for information. But now if more news comes out, we will quickly know it. So stay tuned for that. In the meanwhile, if you have liked this video, if you found it a little bit informative, click the like button, subscribe to the channel as well, that you can follow it up, because if I have more news, I will share it. And also click that notification bell, then you at least know when the video is up. Also, YouTube thinks you might like that video. Click on it. Check it out and let me know if YouTube was right, because I don't know, can I trust YouTube? Is it good? Yes or no? And I'm out.